My America was built on freedom and a trust in God. It says so on our currency. The United States would have never grown to be the magnificent powerhouse that it is today without the incentive of religious freedoms to bring immigrants to its shores. But lately, things have gotten out of hand. People want religion to be respected as a private practice. Nobody openly criticizes it because the conversation becomes an attack on the individual and not the belief system itself. The US is in stalemate. Religion is a private practice, and yet it's constantly appearing in the public. The old ban on stem cell research was rooted in the belief that a human soul is created at conception. The war on terror is fought with little to no mention of the religious affiliation of the concerned sides. And the resistance to gay rights, just like the resistance to civil rights, is fought using religious texts and preachings. Religion's constantly butting its way into situations that it doesn't belong in, and yet no one can touch it. Now, in my classroom, it influences the acceptance of scientific fact. Whenever I start discussing evolution, I have some students that say things like, well, what fossil evidence shows the steps between monkeys and man? Or, are you sure this happened naturally and all on its own? The religious background becomes pretty clear, and it's like their tone implies that I'm wrong, or I'm censoring information. But I can't even address the issue directly. Teachers are always getting dragged into court for saying the wrong things about religion. I know people want religion to be respected as a private practice, but I just can't stand allowing it to interfere in the public space. My main problem with religion, especially creationism, is that it can allow my students to ignore so much of what I teach. Important things. With a creationist perspective, your understanding of life is diluted. The religious facts that you identify with blot out a certain curiosity towards the questions that scientists are currently trying to answer. That's just sad. A creationist will never understand the raw power of the world to change a species to better match its environment. Just recently, biologists from Spain and Australia have discovered that the wings of a certain fly can trap and kill bacterial cells on contact. It was the first ever recorded instance of any biomaterial that expressed any kind of antibacterial characteristics. Just think of it. The wings of this fly may teach us how to develop cleaner surfaces in public spaces like doorknobs and countertops, ultimately hindering the spread of dangerous bacteria in our environment. This was created entirely by nature. A religious person navigates around the fact that the world did this all on its own, with no higher blueprint to work off of. To think that such an amazing biological tool could come from the will of no man or intellectual being, but from natural processes? It's beautiful.